I run a consultant firm here, and have about 6 employees. Last year, we did about $2.5 million in revenue. And the problem that I'm running into right now, Dave, is that since fourth quarter last year, we've seen a significant dip in revenue due to economic factors that's happening here in Michigan, and suffered a pretty substantial loss in Q1 of this year. And I'm considering reducing my staff headcount. The problem is that I have an amazing team that's been with me for quite some time. They all buy into our mission. They're aligned with our vision. It took me a long time to get to this place, and I'm hesitant to let anybody go because of how hard we work to get to where we're at with them. So I just need your guidance on this one, because I don't know how much longer we can sustain before I really have to start cutting even more.
Yeah. Ouch. So the thing is literally in the red. You lost money.
We lost money in Q1. We're down by about 50% already this year compared to last year.
How much money did you lose in Q1, actual dollars?
$40,000.
Okay. And you just had the cash to cover that, obviously.
Correct.
Okay. So what's Q2 trending on?
We're still going to be low, probably in the red as well. Not as bad. I'd say probably going to lose another $10,000.
Okay. So what happens when we're facing something like this? It's a type of trauma, and I faced it myself, and we all faced it, like during COVID as an example, right? How am I going to make payroll for 1,100 people when entire divisions, departments in this company just evaporated like live events? We obviously weren't doing any, right? That kind of thing. So how do we keep the people here? Well, what do we do? We're all facing these decisions. And one of the things we learned during that exercise, which was more than just an exercise, it was an extremely stressful situation. What was Dr. John Deloney talks about this all the time. He says when you're in trauma or when you're in a crisis scenario, the way to keep your thinking clear is to say facts are my friends. Because what happens is we all have a drama queen between our ears, and it wakes up and goes into a full Broadway show. And it makes everything feel worse at 2 o'clock in the morning than it actually is. Does that make any sense to you? Does that sound familiar?
That's pretty darn accurate. I think I wake up at 2 a.m. every day.
There you go. And so, and it's like, and things are really dramatically better than reality or dramatically worse than reality. And the key word here is dramatically. We're drama queens, all of us. And so when you're in a high stress scenario, a threat is coming at you. Our brains are designed to shut down thinking if a lion is approaching to eat you. You don't need to have a discussion with yourself and do critical thoughts. You need to run. And so the prefrontal cortex is flooded with dopamine and other things, and it shuts down critical thinking skills. And that's normal in a trauma thing. So you have to stop and rise above that as an intentional act and say, facts are my friends. Now, when I say facts are my friends, then what you're asking me about is it time to lay people off? Okay. What are the facts telling us about, okay, we're burning 40K. We're not going to burn as much next quarter. We can't keep burning money. There's an end to that. That's a fact, right? But are we able to, have you been able to make some corrections with the market and get revenues heading back in the right direction so that maybe Q3 you don't lose money? Because if I'm breaking even and making no profit on my way back to making the profit I used to make, I'm not laying people off. Would you?
No, I'll take break even all day right now.
Yeah, for a while, on my way back too, but not break even as a 5-year scenario. I'm not doing that one. But break even as a way back to where we were from a $40,000 loss, and the bottom of the valley would be Q1 of 2025, and by Q1 of 2026, we're profitable again and heading back. The lines are heading in the right direction again. If I can see my way then we don't end this. And I don't know your business well enough or your environment well enough, but can you see a way where this thing hangs on by the skin of your teeth until you finish turning it positive? If you can, then it's not time to lay people off. But if you think this is a death spiral and this thing's going to settle out at 50% of its former revenue, then you're going to have to be at 50% of your former staff. So what we're doing here is forecasting with facts, not with drama. And I don't know that, but I like the trend, and you do too, that I'm losing a little money but less than the quarter before. And if I can think that that's probably true about Q3, that I lose a little less money than Q2, then this is a downturn you can absorb without laying people off because you're headed back in the right direction. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. I think there's still a lot of uncertainty in Michigan on what it's going to look like.
It's not up to Michigan. It's up to Brian. There's always been uncertainty in Michigan. There's always been uncertainty in Tennessee. When you opened your business, there was uncertainty. And there's some outside variables that are playing havoc with you, but I'm not making my decision on the outside variables. I'm asking, if I'm you, I'm looking in the mirror and saying, Brian, can I, in this current environment, turn this thing? If I come to believe that I cannot turn it, then yes, you have to lay people off. And that should be a result of factual analysis. But when you started the business, Brian, there were people standing on the sidelines telling you it couldn't be done. And it took several years for you to finally believe them. I'm telling you, it maybe can be done, and, but I'm not waiting on Trump to take on your stupid governor, and I'm not waiting on any of that kind of crap to bail you out. You're going to be the answer to you're the secret sauce on your sandwich. And so so you've got to sit down with your top two people and say, in order to not lay people off, we have to come to believe that we're trending back up. What has to be true for us to believe that with facts, not with wishful thinking? Or are we going to come to believe that the environment is so tough we can't exist anymore? And if that's the case, then you're going to have to own it and let people go. So I don't know the answer to the equation, but necessary endings come, according to Henry Cloud in his book, Necessary Endings, when you have lost hope that you see a way forward. I no longer see a way forward. And I'm not there yet in this discussion, because I can tell that you're losing less money in Q2 than Q1. You did not continue down. You did something to stabilize. You brought the nose of the plane up before it hit the ground. And so what did you do to stabilize, and can you do some more of that? That's in the current environment that you're in. I don't know any other way to do it. So, that's where I would land on it. But if you come to believe that it's going to continue to go down, it will be irresponsible to the people you're going to keep to not let the people go that need to go. They're the first ones out the door. And, so the way we lined that up at COVID was we said, okay, we have a certain amount of cash. We told our team this, by the way. We have a certain amount of cash. We don't have any debts. If we start actually losing money and burning the cash, the first thing is we're going to burn the cash down to a certain level. The second thing is leadership will stop taking pay. And the third thing is we're going to hold your pay. And then if that's not working, then we're going to let you go. But we're not going into debt, and we're not going to do any of that. So anyway, and we just told them that's exactly. The good news was at Ramsey, we were able to bring the nose of the plane up, even though it was heading down, before it got in the red, before we were actually losing money. So we never even got to the burn the cash part, much less leadership not taking pay. But I was willing to not take pay rather than let people go, just like you, Brian. and our leadership team was too, and that makes it easier to not lose money, right? And so we can keep the nose of the plane heading up into the sky. But if the environment with the shutdowns and all the bullcrap stuff we all went through was going to keep us from doing business, then people were going to end up losing their jobs at the end of the story. And but we told everybody that. We said, you're going to have plenty of notice because we're going to tell you everything that's going on. And this month we did not lose money. We made less than we thought we were going to make, but we did not lose money. This month we did not lose money. This month we did not lose money. And every time I say that, you get to keep your job a month longer. And so, and we kept telling everybody that. So everybody knew what we were facing. And I think you start telling your team that. And tell them what your plan is and go, we got to get this revenue back up. And if we don't get it back up, there's no Santa Claus doesn't live here. We cannot keep paying you guys. And that's a mathematical fact. And that's what you're getting into. So you're a good man. You're a good man for fretting over this. You're a good man for wanting to protect your people. You're wise for all of those things. So, wow.